Hi, I'm Chris Martirano with American Music and Sound and our great friends at Kraft Music, the home of those legendary bundles where they package together all those great accessories that you might need, whether it be a case or cables or a stand, and then save you tons of money. They give you an excellent value. Make sure you check out those bundles, and if you don't see the bundle that you're looking for, make sure you check with one of your Kraft sales advisors and they'll put together a custom bundle just for you. Today I'm going to be showing you Nord's Piano 5, a great successor in the piano line. It now supersedes and takes the place of the Piano 4 and goes so much further. Let's dig in and see what it does. It's an amazing instrument. This is a successor to the Nord Piano 4. It goes so much further, adding so many additional features. The most notable is now you have 4 different engines. Previously in the Nord Piano 4, there was a piano engine and a sample synth engine. In the Nord Piano 5, there are 2 piano engines and 2 sample synth engines. This is awesome. You can now layer 2 pianos, or a piano and electric piano, or an FM piano with a tine electric piano, etc., things of that nature. And in the sample synth player, you can now layer multiple samples from that huge Nord library. So this takes the machine so much further. The polyphony is 120 voices in the piano section and 40 voices in the sample synth section. They've also added some very cool things. For example, there's timbre control in the piano section featuring bright, mid, and soft EQ settings, along with some very cool dyno settings for those tine electric pianos. You also have touch control, medium, heavy, and light. And then in the sample synth section, they've added this bright and soft tone control. This allows you to do some nice tone shaping without using your equalizer, reserving the equalizer possibly for an overall balance. So we're going to dig in very shortly and listen to the sounds, but I just want to point out on the back panel, you have headphones, left and right audio out. You have a monitor in that's a stereo 1/8 inch mini pin input. This is great if you want to play backing tracks, let's say from your iPad or from some other device. You also have MIDI in and out, USB connectivity, also for your computer, sustain pedal in, which takes the triple pedal lyre that Nord ships with the Piano 5. This is great. The sustain pedal is actually a continuous controller and allows you to half sustain, half damp, quarter damp, fully sustain. So it's a continuous control over the sustain. I love this. I'll be demonstrating this shortly. Also, they've added the Sustanuto pedal and the soft pedal all in one unit. It plugs in over a single tip ring sleeve connection. This is great. And then I have a CC pedal plugged in, which I'm using as a controller. So let's dig in and listen to the instrument. The very first sound almost everyone without exclusivity wants to hear is the piano. I'm going to start with their piano that they label the, let's see, we'll just go to the White Grand. Nord provides their instruments in different sizes. For example, the pianos are offered in extra large, large, medium, and small. Also, you can download into the instrument those pianos which you want. Currently, right now, I believe Nord says there's up to 20 slots available to you to load sounds into per category. And the categories in this engine are grand, upright, electric, clav, digital, and misc. So for example, in here right now, there's a myriad of different grands loaded in, uprights. For me, I would probably select my two favorite grands. I'd take the largest sizes, download them into the instrument. Maybe I'd take two, maybe three Tyne electric pianos. Right now there's 6 or 7 loaded in. I don't need that many for my use. Also, same for the reed electric pianos, or for the clavs, or FM pianos, or even the digital grand, which what a classic sound. I'm so glad, and they capture it so beautifully in here. So again, the idea is download from their piano library just what you want into the instrument and make it your instrument. I love that. The same goes for the sample synth section. In fact, in the sample synth section, you can download all of these great samples from their libraries, which include Chamberlin, Mellotron, acoustic instruments, orchestral instruments, Eastern Indian instruments. They have a ton, but then you can also load your own using their sample editor. You can take waveforms.wav, layer them across a keyboard configuration, and then load them into the instrument. So you can load your own samples into the instrument. Again, I just wanted to make that point clear because it makes the instrument your instrument, totally configurable. So again, without further ado, we're going to start with the white piano, the white grand. I made a preset called Piano Grand. I'm just going to stay on this preset, but change the underlying multi-samples so you can hear a variety of the different pianos. I've already gone ahead and turned off reverb. I've turned off all of the other parameters that may be effects, like such as chorusing or whatever, just so you can really dig in and listen to the pure sounds. So here's the white grand. This is a very classical piano. It's great actually for playing some classical music. Here's a little snippet of a classical work. Of course, all of the Beethoven fans out there will know that wasn't exactly what he wrote, or as my piano teacher would have said back in the day, that was lovely, now play what Beethoven wrote. But at any rate, little humor. So you get to hear what that piano sounds like. The cool thing is this triple lyre pedal. There is the ability to control in real time through velocity the dampers lifting up above the strings. So if I stamp on the pedal really hard, you can hear, sorry for the shake in the display there, but you can hear all the dampers lifting up. If I press very lightly, just a little bit, and the sympathetic string resonance, so if I just... Really great. They took a lot of care to make these pianos play so beautifully. They marry the keyboard action. In this case, I'm playing the 88 note, graduated hammer weight. Beautifully, they marry it to the sound. They also make a 73 note with the same graduated hammer weighted action. And the way that they make it play so beautifully, they have triple sensors. So there's 3 different sensors reading the key position in real time and measuring the flight. So you get this very smooth velocity curve. So playing very soft to very loud. And if I use the soft pedal samples, that's one dynamic instrument. Amazing. I'm going to select a different piano. This one is called the Royal Grand 3D. This is more of a 3D recording. Captures much bigger stereo field. Again, I'm just staying on the preset I made called Piano Grand. If I actually wanted to make this a new preset using this stereo piano, I could have just actually store, name and save. So I can go in and name using the protocol here where you just switch letters. It's a very simple naming system. I love it. I think it's very elegant. And then store it. And now the piano that I have stored underneath is the Royal Grand. I could have named it, of course, Royal Grand. So let's listen to what this piano sounds like. I'm just doing little improvs to kind of explore the whole range, higher, lower, and also the dynamic range is just unbelievable. Of course, there's upright pianos. This one's called the Amber Upright. Again, you're hearing these all dry, unaffected. With this piano, I'm going to start to add some effects and start to do some fun things with it so you can see kind of how the interface allows you to, in real time, be creatively inspired. First, we'll hear it raw. I'm going to add a little bit of a chorus effect to it. I'm going to layer this with the grand piano. This is something you could not do on the Nord Piano 4 or previous Nord piano models. So I'll turn on scene B. We have layer A and layer B. Layer B, I'm going to call up a piano. Let's see which one I want to use. I'm going to use Silver Grand. And I'm going to layer this now together with this Amber Upright. I'll turn the chorusing off just so we can hear what they sound like together. You can right away hear the upright on the higher end, the kind of hammer, distinctive hammer sound of an upright, but you hear the kind of warmth of the grand layered in. I have this layer detune function built into the piano engine. I'm just going to detune them a little bit. Oh, I love that. It's great. No reverb, very clean. If I decide I want to put a little bit of delay on this, that could be fun. And maybe I'll put the delay just on the upright, not on the whole full preset here of both upright and Velvet Grand. I'll tap my tempo in, very slow. They have a ping pong delay now that they've added, which is cool, so I'll put that on. And I'll put a little bit in the background, and we get... I want a few more repeats. I don't want a minor second, but I gave it to you anyway. That's really spacey, very quick to make. Maybe I want a panner on the grand piano. So I'll pick the grand piano, the Silver Grand, and I'll put a slow panner on that. Well, it's a lot of movement. Anyway, I'm going to go back and just show a few more of the electric pianos now. So we'll start with one called Ideal Timbre. And there's just so many they have loaded in here right now. It's 8 different Tine electric pianos. This is what I mean. You can download the one that you like. If you notice in the display, you see the L. That's showing me it's a large, but there's an extra large version too with even more detail. So let's just hear how this one sounds. Just for the purpose of editing, again, I'm on this Piano Grand preset, but under the hood, I'm using Ideal Timbre. I know in other demos, they just step through the presets. I'm more interested to show you how the instrument works. I can name this at any time what I like. But I'm just going to show you, again, how you dress this up. I might want a panner, which you would have found on the suitcase model. So I'll put a stereo panner on. Maybe I'll put a little bit of EQ on this one. I'll take out a little of the mid-range, boost up the top a little bit. I'll leave the bottom alone. Maybe I'll put a little bit of reverb on this one. And all of a sudden we have something that, and I'll put a phaser. Why not? So we can get like a, maybe less on the panner, maybe a slower rate. Maybe a little faster on the phaser. And maybe I'll push up a little bit more high end. I just have so much fun playing these. They're great. Supposing I leave all my settings alone, but I go to a different multi-sample. This one's called Shallow Close. This almost brings out the octave harmonic above the fundamental in this recording. These are all recorded Tine electric pianos, separate ones. They're not modifications of the same original recording. That makes Nord very special. If I just toggle back to the last one, and the one we were listening to, Shallow Close, very different character. Anyway, you can explore a lot of the electric pianos. There are so many on their library. I'm going to move around pretty quick so I can cover a lot. I love this one. It's called Bright Tines. I'm going to put a little bit of chorusing on this one. I'll leave the panner on. I'll shut the panner off. I'm going to put this one on an amplifier. So they have some amp modeling. And I'll put a little bit of overdrive on it. And I'll turn the EQ off. And over here on my piano section, I'm going to select a dyno setting. So this is going to give me a really unique character. I'll put a lighter touch on it. Beautiful sounds. I'm going to jump into a reed electric piano here now. I hope you understand I'm staying on a single preset by name, but underneath I'm changing the multi-samples. This just allows me to show you very quickly what's going on in the instrument and not jump around through a bunch of presets. I want to tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it, more tutorial style. So right now I'm shutting off the settings here in the piano, so there's no dyno sound on. This is a reed electric piano, and as customary with the reed electric pianos, you're going to have a tremolo. So I'm going to put a tremolo on this. I'll look for the rate. Somewhere around there looks kind of right. No reverb, nothing else on it, and you just get... I love this effect they call vibe. So if I turn this tremolo off and put vibe on, I get this really cool. Really great, has a very cool wobbly effect. You heard it on certainly a certain amount of hits back in the day, as I call it. Here's a great clav patch. In the clav multi-samples, they've captured, if you look under the hood, they've captured the CA settings, the CB settings, DA, DB. As you know, there were rocker switches on the original, and by changing them, you could change timbre. Also on here, or pickup positions rather, different pickups, they also have a timbre control that helps you kind of also navigate through some of those changes and make the sounds very authentic. So I'm just going to play with the timbre effect for a minute. Very cool. A lot of fun. So I'm going to put a wah on this. And they have what they call auto wah. So listen how different the sound's going to be just using the timbre controls. I haven't changed the multi-sample yet. If I change the multi-sample, ooh, I love that one. I want to wah that though from my CC pedal. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put the CC pedal on now to control the wah effect. In fact, under the modulation 1 panel here, you can assign CC pedal to control tremolo depth, to control panning depth, to control the wah effect, the ring modulator, which is very cool. It can affect the ring modulator's rate, which is very cool. So here's what happens when I start to use the CC pedal. Let's layer that with a grand piano. That could be cool. And the grand piano, I'm going to turn down like so. It's much quieter, but I'll leave the clav up full, and maybe I'll detune them a little bit. Turn the piano down more. Maybe I'll select an upright piano instead. It's so much fun to play. Supposing we decided we're not going to layer it with an upright piano, but maybe a different clav setting. That's really awesome. You can in fact wah both of them if you want. So we'll put both of them on. And now the wah will be controlling both of them. So you can just see how flexible. It's very quick. The editing is just super quick because everything's right on the upper panel. I'm going to step over to the next category, which is the digitals. So we'll just shut these off. We'll go to digital, and now we have DX7 full tines. This is just stock. I don't have any effects on, no reverb. You're going to see, because in a minute I'm going to start to combine all 4 engines and using effects and stuff just to show you how deep can you go down the rabbit's hole. It's pretty deep. So here's just the stock FM. Let's make this really nice and dreamy. So I'm going to put on a chorusing effect. I'm also going to put on some reverb. I'm going to put on a little bit of delay. Turn the ping pong off. And already we have something that's a lot more. Let's try using the timbre controls, and we'll put like a bright top end. And if I make the touch heavier, we'll have a lot more control over how much of that brightness we hear. Boost up the mid. Layer that with a grand piano. That could sound really sweet. And we'll turn this grand piano down a little bit. I just want to give you like the very quick picture of everything here. So I'm going to jump out of digital, but before I leave it, I want to show you one of the, by the way, there are more than one FM electric piano. There's, of course, this one called Rubba. And you can do amazing editing to it. But I'm going to go to one of the CP70s, DigiGrand 1 they call this. I'll go to DigiGrand 2, I like it. This one is really nice. Of course, the stock thing to do would be put some chorusing on it, and then you get that really nice. Put some cool tremolo on it. I have it on my CC pedal so I can bring it in as I want it. I love this flexibility, and I think it's something that gets overlooked. You hear a piano and you think, oh, it's piano. I have so much fun with this instrument. The flexibility, it goes so much deeper than, you know, you hear piano and you think, oh, it just does piano. Let's take a look at now what happens under this miscellaneous category. You have vibraphone and marimba loaded in right now. I don't remember in previous models that you could load other sounds unrelated, in this case, to some form of a piano. Of course, there's harpsichords in here. I kind of jumped over them. But I love the vibes. They're great. So on the vibes, I'll just put a stereo panner. Take it off the pedal. And I'll leave chorusing off. I'll leave a little reverb on there. Now we might want a little bit of a slower release, so we can get a nicer release. You can go for that kind of purist jazz vibe where you might have had a legendary vibraphone player along with a master keyboardist. So we'll just layer this with the grand piano and we can get some really nice unisons. Of course, I don't think vibes can play that low. Very cool. I'm going to jump in just a little bit to the sample player. Not a lot of people recognize how many categories now they're filling. So right here, the categories they list are, starting at the beginning, accordion and harmonicas, and there are multiple ones. So the way it works, the first knob takes you through the category, second knob takes you through the actual programs under the category. And of course, Nord didn't leave out this great list feature. If I hit Shift and List, it'll tell me what sounds are available under that category. The same is true, by the way, for the piano. So if I'm in the piano mode and I'm looking at grand pianos and I want to know what's exactly loaded in, Shift List will show me just the pianos that are loaded in. This is great when you're hunting for something. So back over here to the sample player. So the categories, we have our accordion, harmonica, basses, and of course, acoustic bass, myriad of basses under here. Then you have brass ensembles, brass solo, choir, guitar plucked, mellotron, organ, percussion tuned, strings analog, strings ensemble, solo strings, synth bass, synth classic, synth lead, synth pad, wind solo. They just packed a ton of sounds in here. And they're really very good. I mean, I don't know how many people are interested these days in accordion, but... So if you dress this up again a little bit, they have this cool thing called True Vibrato. I'm going to put True Vibrato on and delay 1, and we'll get... Without it, if I go to 2, it'll delay a little bit longer. This is great for solo instruments, especially the orchestral instruments, but you can get... It's a great sound. Let's step over to some of the solo orchestral instruments. Those are impressive. Well, while I'm on brass, I'll show that as well. A lot of people originally, when they heard brass samples being played out of different instruments, thought, terrible. They're making progress, I have to say. Will it ever take the place of a real brass section? No. No, if you've ever worked with a real brass section, there's no way. But these are great. I'm going to turn off any effects on them. I'll leave a little bit of reverb. This is called Pop Section 3. You'll hear that later when I make some combinations and I'm actually playing that kind of in a funk domain, but it's great. Like, in the sample synth section, they have this nice envelope control. So you have attack and then you have decay release. So on a lot of samples, if you just sit on the note without any envelope, the note stays at a static volume and it becomes really boring very quickly and very unrealistic. So if I have it decay, it's nicer in chords. Much better also when you're doing things with pads, where you have the pad die away a little bit, or a string ensemble. So just want to go to one of the solo instruments. Let's go to a different one. I want to go to the soft trumpet. So you can hear what I mean. The sample just sits statically at the same volume. I'm going to put some delay, vibrato, true vibrato as they call it. I'll make it a little bit longer. I'm going to make it decay so that it doesn't stay static. I'm also going to turn the attack very sharp. Now, one of the cool things they have built in is unison mode. So now I'm going to use unison on this single trumpet. Let's supposing I layer that now with another solo brass instrument. So I'll pick another solo brass instrument. I'll pick a bright trumpet. I'll put them on together. Now here's the thing I like. These bright and soft timbre controls allow me to really shape things. I'm going to go back to just the soft trumpet and put on the soft control. Turn unison off on that one. On the bright trumpet, I'll leave it alone and I'll put unison on only on the bright trumpet, and then I'll layer them. I'm going to turn on my EQ section now and just show you a little bit how you can shape this sound much further. I'm going to push up a little bit more of the mid ranges on it. So you can really shape the sounds. I'm going to step into a bank of programs I made now, and they're all indicated that by my initial CM that these are programs that I've made. And these really do show off starting to layer the 4 different possibilities with effects, with different dynamics, using what the keyboard allows us to do. The one last feature I want to show is split mode. When you split on this instrument, they have one of the coolest things. They have the ability to have a crossfade between the split point. So right now I'm going to split a piano with an acoustic upright bass, and we're going to see what happens when we crossfade them. Right now we have a layer, so I'm going to tell the piano I want it in the upper half of the keyboard. The LED tells me where the split point is. If I want to change it, I can move it, and I'll make it here is fine. And then I'm going to tell the bass that I want it in the left side. So now I can change the bass range, octave lower, an octave higher. The piano I want down an octave. So this sound, I might want it a little brighter. Maybe I'll pick even a different one. Let's see, there's swing upright. Okay, that I'm going to have decay a little faster. Put this in a little bit of reverb. And now we have this really evident split. That's really harsh. So I'm going to use the crossfading. And they have this ability to crossfade over a range of 6 notes or over a range of an octave. So right now we're using 6 notes or a smaller crossfade. That's pretty smooth. What happens if it's an octave? Let's see what happens if I'm just playing. Give me that any day over a hard split. That's really a brilliant feature. Okay, now I'm going to jump into some programs I made that kind of show how you pull all this all together. I'm going to bring up the CC pedal and you'll start hearing something else coming in the background. How do I know what that is without pressing all these buttons? Oh, for this beautiful button called Prog View. Look at that. It tells me what's on A and B in the piano section, and A and B, what's on in the sample synth section. That's so helpful. I can look down, oh yeah, I have a fretless bass, I got this square pad, I've got this EP bright tines, and a DX7 full tines. So as I bring up the pedal here, I'm bringing up this basic square. That's what's coming up on the pedal. that'll stay there. So if I go to a different program, I can always see what's available to me. This is really a lot of thought went into this. I love it. This is just substituting out that square wave for a brass, analog brass patch. So you get this. Notice the sustain pedal is grabbing my bass. I don't want that. So I can look up here really quick and see finger bass is going to be A right here. It's flashing, which means that's the one I want to edit. So I'm going to shift and turn the sustain pedal off. It's off. That's awesome. I'm going to bring some reverb down on that too, because I don't want too much bass. Maybe I don't even want that bass. Let me pick a different bass. I'll pick something that has a little bit more finger to it. So very simple to manipulate these four. Here's something else using a guitar program, an electric piano as well. If I decide I don't like that panning too much, back it off. Go to a slower rate. Anyway, I'm just going to keep stepping through these. This is using a horn saw, which is an analog, kind of a big pad, and then a cathedral organ, which the CC pedal is going to bring in, so you can get these really big timbres. What if I decide I don't really want the horn? So let's look, maybe I want a choir for that. So I'll go back and pick, let's go back to my cathedral, where is it? Female voices. And here's the volume for it. Let's find some different voices though. So I switched on my volume pedal. Maybe I don't want the organ on the volume pedal, but I want the choir. So then get if you're into the prog thing, this is great. It's a lot of fun. Here's another example. Now you can hear this one sound. I want to get rid of the octave in the bass there, and I could tell this is Pacific pad. So let's get rid of this in the bass here. We don't want this in the bass. It's the Crossfade is doing it. There we have it. The CC pedal is bringing in a bit of a clipped, distorted sound. If I don't like it, back it off a little bit, maybe turn the distortion off, and we get into a much cleaner sound. The whole display just tells me exactly what's going on. If I hear something I don't like, I know exactly where to go to fix it. It's amazing. Little orchestral idea. I'm going to add my CC pedal to that big pad so that at least I can pull it back and make it much more expressive. So, wow, listen to that tail. That's called chorale on the reverb. Wow, that's moving all over the place. What if we turn that off? What does the tail sound like? Very smooth. A lot of cool features built in here. Here's another example for the guys who are playing weddings, perhaps. Yeah, old Bach. Old Bach with old fingers. I put some bells through some panning and through some additional effects, and you can get some really cool spacey things. Love the spaciness of that. You notice in the left hand, I'm playing a monophonic synth. Some of the actual synth library that they've downloaded into here in the sample synth section are monophonic. You can't edit them, so you can't undo the monophonic aspect or the legato, and you can't turn polyphonic patches into monophonic. But the fact that they give you these is very cool. So if you listen when I'm playing, I'll turn off some of the other sounds so you can just focus on the... So you can hear that that's monophonic. That's really cool when you layer that with other things. Very similar to the last program. I'll step over this one. This is featuring one of the solo string programs. It's actually very nice. Very interesting how you can shape these as well. So if you want more bite, if you want the cello to be a very biting kind of... I'm going to to change my split point here, move it down a little bit lower. It's a big step forward when you're listening to sounds like this in an instrument that's called Nord Piano 5. I have just a couple more for you. I'm a big fan of the ring modulator. I grew up with some instruments that featured this, and so I'm using it in this program. Such a very cool effect. I'm glad to see that Nord included it. It's really, really nice. Nord does not provide the Nord Drawbar Organ in the Nord Piano 5. Of course, you can find that in the Electro series and the Stage 3. But in here, they do at least provide some organ waves. And right here, I've layered wave organ and flute multi. And I've then split them partially with a grand piano. What do I mean by partially? Well, the piano is going to play across the whole range, and just from this LED to the right, I have the organ, which is on a CC pedal. So again, just to give you some ideas how you might use this. So we have full piano. CC pedal brings in the organ. Now, of course, you could do straight splits. You don't have to, have the organ overlaid at all. You could have organ in one hand or organ in the other hand, and then piano on the top if you're doing splits. Here is an example of some of the orchestral brass. You can definitely do some fun things with that. I'll just show a handful of these combinations I've put together, and that should give you a very good idea of what the Nord Piano 5 really is. I just like the complement of those sounds. This would be a straight piano and bass, or piano and organ split. Very simple stuff there. Just if you want to make a bigger organ, if you're just playing organ, not as a pipe organ, but these are tuned in octaves, so you can have one lower register. Maybe this one will bring back up an octave, and then they're all... It may fill the need in your group. If you have to play organ for some reason in the background and something like, it wouldn't necessarily be a prog piece, but it might be something where you just needed an organ. If you roll off the high end, you can get it to sound like, fewer drawbars. So if you take this and... All right, you wouldn't play that on it. Just having some fun. Of course, on the pipe organ side, it's got some great pipe organ. There are many other samples as well in their library. You definitely want to check those out. So here I have kind of a fluty program, and then the CC pedal will bring in the reeds. So... such a massive sound. It's so much fun to use. Okay, I'm just going to show one or two more. This one I call CM Dyno Mark II. It's using, of course, a Tine electric piano, a digital grand, and then this horn pad. But this is really nice for kind of ballady types of R&B things. It's a very beautiful sound, especially for a lot of different ballads, classic things. I'm going to close with this program called CM Timekeeper. I'm using the digital delay with a ping pong effect to just give myself some rhythmic element to play along to. So that's Nord's Piano 5, a brilliant instrument, a great successor in the piano line, offering tons more features and that same brilliant Nord sound. If you need more information or you have questions, please contact your sales advisors at Kraft Music. They'll be happy to help you. Be sure to check out those bundles where you'll save tons of money and get all the great accessories you need to make the most out of your instrument. Thanks once again. I'm Chris Martirano.